It's the early 20th century in the city of Detroit. The Paris of the West is bustling with growth and optimism, its air filled with the scent of industry. In a small workshop on the newfound factory stands a man, committed not only to change his life, but the course of history. He is a man with a dream that will put the world on wheels and transform the industry and the very fabric of modern life. His name is Henry Ford, the visionary and man of many controversies. This is his story. Henry Ford was born on July the 30th, 1863, in the rural town of Dearborn, Michigan, to William Ford, of Irish descent, and Mary Littlegott Ford, who owned a prosperous farm in a quiet Michigan enclave. Already in his youngest years, though growing up in a rural environment, Henry displayed an innate curiosity for mechanisms and how they worked. He garnered the reputation of a watch repairman in his early teens, expertly dismantling and reassembling watches, a skill initiated by his fascination with a pocket watch he received from his father. Such was his obsession that the local children feared their toys might be his next project, for he was known to dismantle everything he got his hands on to decipher their inner workings. In an enlightening moment, Ford's expertise came to the forefront when he successfully repaired a steam engine that baffled experienced farmers. This incident solidified his status as a mechanic and instilled newfound confidence in him. However, as his skills grew, Henry realized that his family's farm was not the place where he could fulfill his dreams. Upon his mother Mary's passing, his only tie to farm life, the 16-year-old Henry left his home and went to the bustling cityscape of Detroit in 1879. Here, he commenced his journey into the world of mechanics as an apprentice at the Michigan Car Company, a renowned manufacturer of railroad cars. This apprenticeship and several subsequent positions across various companies equipped him with primary skills in tooling and machinery. During this period, Ford had his share of challenges, one of them being fired from multiple jobs. His appetite for knowledge remained strong though. He was not one to shy away from tasks unfamiliar to him. His fearlessness and self-confidence made him accept roles to master skills he had yet to acquire. It was precisely this attitude that landed him a position as a night engineer at the Edison Illuminating Company of Detroit. But thanks to his determination, he rapidly ascended to the role of chief engineer. Parallel to his responsibilities at Edison, Ford embarked on his automotive dream. While his initial endeavors saw him create rudimentary gasoline engines, by 1896 he completed his first automobile, the Ford Quadricycle, a self-propelled vehicle powered by a small gasoline engine. Far from today's cars, the quadricycle symbolized the dawn of Ford's journey that was yet to begin. Inspired by the quadricycle's potential, Ford and a group of investors founded the Detroit Automobile Company in 1899. Henry firmly believed that the future of automobiles lay in gasoline-powered internal combustion engines, but despite his vision, the company struggled. Plagued by high production costs and vehicles that failed to meet quality standards, it was short-lived. By 1901, Ford took another leap, founding the Henry Ford Company. However, divergent views with his investors led to Ford's departure, a decision that proved pivotal. In 1903, still with unwavering determination, Ford initiated the Ford Motor Company. Operating from a rental facility on Mack Avenue, Detroit, the company rolled out its first car, the Model A, setting the stage for a series of innovations. While Ford's earlier vehicles such as the Model A, C, and F retained the essence of horseless carriages with engines positioned under the seats, the landscape was shifting. European automakers pioneered a new design, placing the engine at the front, resulting in a more accessible and ergonomic vehicle. Recognizing this evolution, Ford, in 1905, introduced the Model B. However, priced at $2,000, equivalent to around $70,000 today, the Model B was beyond the budget for many, hindering its success. Ford's pursuit of affordability and innovation led to the introduction of the Model N in 1906. The compact car with a price tag of $600, it quickly became the nation's bestseller. This success was followed by other variations, including the Model R and Model S. While these vehicles marked a significant step, they still failed to meet Ford's goal to craft an affordable family car. Ultimately came together in 1908. With the creation of the Model T. This vehicle, encapsulating Ford's decades of experience, trials and learnings, would go on to revolutionize the automobile industry. Model T's debut signified more than just the birth of a new vehicle. It epitomized Ford's unwavering commitment to democratize mobility. Unlike the luxury automobiles of the era reserved for the elite, the Model T, affectionately dubbed the Tin Lizzie, was poised to bring driving within the reach of the average American. Its innovative design catered perfectly to the needs of its time. The car was rugged and reliable, featuring a 20-horsepower four-cylinder engine mounted up front. capable of navigating the rough, unpaved American roads. However, the best thing about it was its cost of only $850. Ford's ingenious production methods, the introduction of interchangeable parts, and the streamlining of production processes further drove down the costs. By 1925, the price of a 5-seat Model T Touring had remarkably plummeted to a mere $290, equivalent to just over $5,000 today. But beyond its tangible features and cost-effectiveness, the Model T embodied something far more profound. It tapped into the American ethos of movement, freedom, and empowerment. What was once a privilege of the affluent transformed into a universal dream realized. Yet the advent of the Ford Motor Company and the rapid rise of the Model T was only a precursor of the new production era. Henry Ford's relentless drive for efficiency and vision for making automobiles accessible to the masses culminated in the groundbreaking innovation of the assembly line, drawing inspiration from different sources, from the simplicity of tin can production to the disassembly operations in slaughterhouses. Ford and his team conceptualized a radical departure from traditional manufacturing. With its moving conveyors and specialized tasks for workers, the assembly line system inverted the production process. Instead of craftsmen constructing an entire automobile, production was segmented into simple, repetitive tasks, each executed by specialized workers. This change was revolutionary. Before it was introduced, a Model T would take 12 hours to assemble. With the assembly line, that time was reduced to a mere 1 hour and 33 minutes. By 1924, a Model T was emerging from the assembly line every 24 seconds. With over 15 million sold by 1927, Ford's dedication to efficiency went far beyond production methods. By analyzing and optimizing each step of the production process, Ford ensured that each worker's movement was precise and purposeful and contributed to the goal of efficiency. While the assembly line revolutionized manufacturing, Ford's subsequent innovation truly transformed the industrial world. In 1914, he introduced a $5 a day wage, equivalent to around $150 today. This was a staggering rise from the standard $2.34. But this decision wasn't just an act of kindness. It was rather a strategic move. By doubling wages, Ford aimed to attract and retain the best talent. He believed a motivated, efficient, and dedicated workforce was instrumental to his company's success. By ensuring his workers were well compensated, Ford hoped they would take pride in their work and feel valued. Beyond the financial benefits, Ford also introduced other progressive labor reforms, introducing an 8-hour workday, a 5-day work week, and paid vacations. These were revolutionary measures that improved workers' conditions and quality of life. These changes gave many their first taste of a middle-class lifestyle, granting them more leisure time and purchasing power. Many of Ford's competitors were skeptical about his reforms, especially the wage increase. They believed it could potentially cripple profits. Yet Ford's vision was proven correct. The allure of the $5 a day wage drew workers in droves, many even from overseas, establishing Detroit as an automotive hub. Additionally, Ford's wage reforms served another key purpose. As workers began earning more, they also started spending more, many opting to purchase Ford cars. This strategic decision reinforced Ford's vision, where he viewed his employees as not just workers, but potential consumers. This was the essence of the so-called Fordism philosophy. However, not all of Ford's labor policies were met with universal approval. His sociological department, which aimed to inspect and guide workers' personal lives, was seen by many as an undue intrusion into their privacy. Though it was meant to foster healthy lifestyles and ensure workers met certain living standards, many viewed it as overreaching. Another dark side of Ford's paternalistic approach was his hatred of labor unions, which he thought harmed workers more than they helped. Ford believed that while machines might reduce some jobs, it would stimulate the broader economy, creating new jobs elsewhere. In Ford's view, union leaders created never-ending workplace crises to maintain control over members, while responsible management focused on long-term profitability and societal benefits. To counteract Ford employed aggressive tactics. On occasion, he even resorted to violence against union organizers. Particularly notorious was an incident in 1937 where Ford's goons assaulted union organizers while the police refused to interfere. Perhaps the darkest shadow over Ford's legacy was his well-documented anti-Semitic sentiment. He owned and sponsored the Dearborn Independent, a newspaper notorious for publishing a series of harmful anti-Semitic articles. These writings, later compiled into a book titled The International Jew, perpetuated damaging stereotypes and conspiracy theories about the Jewish community. Unfortunately, Ford's writings were not only circulated extensively in the US, but also found an eager audience in Nazi Germany. Adolf Hitler even acknowledged Ford's influence, keeping a portrait of the industrialist next to his desk and citing him as a lone figure of resistance against Jewish financiers. Despite his interviews and actions towards labor unions, Ford strongly advocated for peace early on. During the early stages of World War I, he supported a peace ship to foster negotiations between the warring parties in Europe. However, the tides of his beliefs shifted as the war progressed, and Ford became a supporter of the war effort. His company played a pivotal role in both world wars. While he initially resisted engaging in any business with the hostilities of World War II, his subsidiary in France continued working during the German occupation, which included the contentious use of French POWs as slave labor. After the United States entered the war, the Ford company became a crucial player in the country's war effort. In his private life, Henry Ford attached great importance to his relationship with the people close to him. The support of his wife, Clara Jane Bryant, was instrumental in Ford's accomplishments. His friendship with Thomas Edison was symbolic of mutual respect. Edison, in many ways, influenced Ford's foray into gasoline-powered vehicles, but perhaps the pivotal figure in Ford's life was James Couzens, his mentor and the linchpin behind the budding success of Ford Motor Company. Even though most people envisioned Henry Ford primarily as the automobile industry pioneer, his influence spread through other aspects of society, from education to environmental conservation. Establishing the Henry Ford Trade School and the Edison Institute, he championed knowledge and self-improvement. Ford was ahead of his time in environmental realms, promoting sustainable practices, from utilizing soybeans in manufacturing to endorsing organic farming. In 1919, Ford handed over the company's presidency to his son, Edsel, although he never completely detached himself from its operations. Even though the introduction of the Model A in 1926 heralded a new chapter in automobile design, the company's fortunes dipped during the Great Depression. Following the tragic death of Edsel, Henry Ford was reinstated president in 1943. However, grief over his late son, age and health issues besieged the company's father as years passed. Ford's once ironclad grip on the firm diminished. Key decisions were made by a consortium of senior executives, including the controversial Harry Bennett, known for his strong-arm tactics against union organizers. The man who had revolutionized mass production and put America on wheels breathed his last on April 7, 1947. At his funeral, more than 5,000 people per hour visited his open casket to pay respect to a man who ignited an industrial revolution that forever changed how people work, build, and design. His trailblazing innovations didn't just redefine manufacturing, they ignited societal transformation, birthing a new era marked by unprecedented mobility and sweeping economic strides. His revolutionary $5 a day wage became a beacon for worker welfare and corporate stewardship. Yet, beneath the honors lies the intricate personality of a man with relentless determination, pioneering spirit, and visionary ideals.